Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is I think probably the most highly requested video. I swear on my life I get like 20 questions a day about this topic, so to be frank with you guys, I was not gonna make this video. And a lot of my friends actually asked me like, did you do a deal with your doctor because he's gonna get so much business from when you talk about it? And I was like, no, I didn't do a deal because I don't plan on talking about it. And it wasn't like I was gonna lie about it or deny it. I didn't want to promote plastic surgery on my channel. Not that there's anything wrong with plastic surgery, but I didn't want to be somebody that is influencing people to change their bodies, because sometimes you see something online and you're like, you know, I didn't even really think about this and now I see this person doing it and you're influenced. Like, that's why we're called influencers, which I hate that word, it's so pretentious. But honestly, I really was not planning on making this, but due to the overwhelming amount of questions and response that I've gotten from you ladies, I've gotten so many questions from women who are either curious about it or they're looking into it or they just want to know, or, I mean, knock on wood, I, in my opinion, think I was very blessed with the surgeon that I ended up picking, and not even blessed, like I honestly did a hell of a lot of research and I'll get into that in a minute. But I think I got very lucky with a lot of things with my surgery, so I wanted to kind of share the wealth and share the knowledge with you guys. And I should also preface this by saying that if you are not a fan of plastic surgery or body modifications in any way, or if you're just coming here to hate, then I would suggest that you click out of this video, because this is for people who are actually curious about it. And I know that before my surgery I probably watched like 100 YouTube videos about it. I would watch like old ones from girls that I knew had the surgery and like I had already seen the video, but I like rewatched it just to kind of see like what they went through again. And so it was really helpful. So I'm going to first of all insert footage right here of me in my like right before surgery and then right after surgery. I didn't vlog my like whole experience just because, again, I didn't really think I was gonna talk about it. And I did vlog like surgery day, but that's just because I was like, you know what, maybe just in case, I'll keep it in my archives, I'll see if I ever use it. And here, so anyways, I'm gonna insert the footage right now. All right guys, it's surgery day. This is my lovely outfit. I'm wearing like teddy bear socks with my slippers, and my closet is open, it's pissing me off. But yeah, this is the lovely outfit, front zip hoodie, and ready to go. I'm definitely a little nervous, mainly about being put under, but then also about the recovery. Like, I've never had surgery before, so I don't know what that recovery process is like and stuff. I mean, I do know now because I've watched a ton of YouTube videos on it, and if anything, those just kind of made me more scared. Some people's was actually really chill, and then as I continued to watch them, the more I watched, the more I was like, well, fuck, that girl's is really bad. So I'm hoping mine is not that bad, but who knows. I also have my period while I'm doing this, so like, honestly, I hate my life, but it's gonna be fine. I know I'm gonna pull through, it's gonna be worth it, and yeah. I always am the kind of person that psychs myself out beforehand. I'm fine, it doesn't hurt, I just like, yeah, I'm just sleepy, I feel fine.
You did great. So come
guys, so I'm not gonna lie to you, the ride home, I think the anesthesia started to wear off. So I had no nausea. Everyone complained, like the biggest fear I had, well, let's not speak too soon because I might still get nauseous, but the biggest fear I had coming off anesthesia was like the nausea. I didn't have any nausea, I was like chilling. And then when I was in the car, it's like an hour, no, it's like 40 minutes drive from Pasadena to LA. Every bump hurt so effing bad. Like, it just feels so like sore, and like it feels like it's raw. Like, it feels like I got the worst sunburn of my life and then someone punched me in the boob like 40 times. Like, it's not like excruciating pain, but it's not pleasant. So, and I don't have my pain meds yet, so they're like at the pharmacy, they're being made or whatever, being filled. So I'm just like chilling here, zero pain meds, like whatever's left over from anesthesia, which is like literally nothing, because clearly I'm being a functioning human now and not like all like but yeah, they wheeled me out in a wheelchair. I'm like feeling okay in terms of like my being able to move my body. Like, I'm taking it so obviously easy, but my tits fucking hurt, I'm not gonna lie. So that was pretty much that. Right now it is August 9th and I had my surgery on June 13th. So that makes it almost 2 full months that I've had my surgery. And yeah, so let's just get into your guys' questions. And I'm kind of going to start from the beginning and give you guys like a little overview, and then I'm going to get into your questions as well. So pretty much, I don't even know where to start. I have not outlined this whatsoever. I'm just speaking from right here because I'm going to get into your questions, and it'll be a little bit easier to kind of narrow down like topics, but I figured I'll just kind of start chatting with you guys and see where we go with this. I guess not that many people knew about this, but people that were close to me knew that I wanted to get a breast augmentation surgery done for years, literally years. I've always been a curvier girl and now woman, and so it's not that I was so much bothered. I wasn't flat chested. It's not that I was bothered by my smaller chest, but I always wanted to get it done for a few reasons. I always felt like it would maybe make me look more proportional, and kind of for a silly reason, but I would literally look at girls with big boobs and I'd be like, she looks so good. Like, you know, like, I'm straight as a damn arrow, but I would look at girls with boobs and be like, shit, I wish I had those boobies too. And so I was never like, it was not a crippling insecurity for me. It was nothing that I was like, oh my god, like, if I don't do this, you know, I can't do X, Y, and Z, or like I have zero confidence if I don't get it done. Like, it was nothing like that. I moved out here, I was modeling, I was doing everything that I was doing, that I'm still doing now, booking the same jobs, doing everything before, but without the surgery. So it's nothing that I absolutely needed. What I will say though is, from like an aesthetic standpoint and more of like a personal standpoint, my nippular area, we're gonna get a little personal here because y'all really want to know why I got surgery. So aside from the fact that I just wanted bigger boobs, and I like big boobs, and that's kind of like, I don't need to apologize for that, but also my nipples were really big for my breast size before, and so it kind of was something that, like, that was a little bit more of an insecurity of mine. Not so much an insecurity, but something that I kind of had in the back of my mind, and like in more intimate situations, if you catch my drift, I would kind of be like not so thrilled with my shape and my size and all that. I also will say that what I had before, my boobs, my doctor said it was called like very, very minor, or like, I don't know, mild, I guess, tubular breasts. So like, you know how you see those little like charts and they're like kind of a joke, and you see like, oh, like, name the boobs that you had. I had kind of like what I called banana boobs. So they would be like very, very flat on the top of my chest, and then they would go like kind of out and like a triangle. Like, it wasn't, I had a girlfriend who had the same size bra as me, and she'd be like, we have the same boobs, and I'm like, no sweetie, your boobs are round and perky, your nipple is tiny, my nipple is half my boob, and my boobs are like this and go out. Like, they just were, they were fine. They were honestly fine. I lived my whole life with them, and there's like, if I had to live my whole life with them, I would have been chilling, I would have been fine. But you know what, I wanted to do it, and I've been wanting to do it forever, and the reason why I was finally able to do it is because I was finally financially ready to do it and mentally ready. I feel like I'm very, very glad that I waited. I'm 23, and I'm very glad that I waited until I was the age that I am now, because if I had done it any younger, I don't know what I would have preferred in terms of a look, and just my self-confidence was just not where it needed to be when I was younger. So that's kind of a tip I have for you guys, is obviously you can do whatever the hell you want, and there are plenty of people that get their boobs done when they're like 18 and they're thrilled with them. But sometimes, you know, your opinions and your style and your everything, your self-confidence, like everything about you is still evolving when you're that age. And I think that like right now I'm more of at a point where I'm just very happy with myself in general, and that has nothing to do with whether or not I've had work done or not, because I was happy with myself beforehand. It's just like something I chose to do because I chose to do it. So yeah, let's get into your guys' questions because there's a lot. So first of all, you guys want to know who did my surgery, and Dr. Casper, you better cut me a damn check because I'm about to get you so much business. But my surgery was done by Dr. Daniel Casper in Pasadena, California. He is amazing, and he's not the first doctor that I went to for a consultation, so that's definitely something that you need to be mindful of, is like, make sure that the doctor you choose is the right fit for you, because I had a couple people recommend me a few different doctors, and I went to a few different consultations and they just didn't feel right for me. And like, when you know, you'll kind of know, and be 110% certain. Like, there's no need to rush into it. I would rather, this is the kind of thing that you don't really want to mess around with. You don't want to go the cheap route or just go with the first surgeon that, you know, if you fall in love with the first surgeon that you find, like, that's totally fine, but still give yourself a couple other options just to kind of see, because again, this is an invasive surgery. This is something that you're pretty much, I mean, you're putting your life and your body in somebody's hands, and so you really want to make sure that that person is like the right fit for you. They understand what you're looking for. They're careful, and they, like, I've had friends who have had pretty bad experiences with their breast augmentation surgeries, and they've said that, oh, my doctor wasn't so careful with me in terms of recovery and you know, in terms of the surgery in general. So I feel like it's really, really important to go to somebody that you feel 100% like you trust them, and you've seen their work, and you know, all of that. And do your dang research, guys. Like, I did research for a year, probably more than that. Like, I did research when I was back home in Massachusetts, and I was going to get my surgery somewhere in Massachusetts, and then when I moved here to LA, I was doing research for over a year, of different doctors and who kind of specialized in breast augmentations. And that's why mainly I chose my doctor at first, like, just even for a consultation, was because I found him by searching best doctors specializing in breast augmentation surgeries in the Los Angeles or Southern California area. And so that's something that I highly recommend doing. If you're not in Southern California and you can't go to Dr. Casper, then obviously go online and kind of start there, and then obviously go into consultations and meet them in person and see how you feel, because a lot of what people post online can be deceiving, and doctors nowadays are photoshopping their pictures. So be very, very aware, regardless of what surgery you want to get or don't want. I mean, just be careful. Okay. What size CC did you go? I have 2 different sizes. So another thing I didn't mention before was my boobs were pretty much a very dramatic difference. Not very dramatic, but dramatic enough where, like, they were very, I know everyone has 2 different sizes, but believe me, mine, like this left one, it's even, the implant is higher right now because this is a larger implant. I believe this is 525 and this is 450, I believe. I'm gonna write it down below if I'm wrong, but I know that one of them is 4 something and the other one is 5 something. So I will write that down below for you guys, or on the screen somewhere, 100% what size I got. But yeah, like I said, one is 4, one is 5. And I got moderate profile silicone. I didn't want to do saline just because I feel like the silicone, in my opinion, just seemed like the safer option. And it's the silicone where, like, you can literally run over it with a car and it's not gonna, like, go anywhere into your body. It can't rupture. Like, even if it does, like, split in half, like, it's not gonna, like, disperse into your body. Another big thing that people have asked was about breastfeeding, and that was a really big concern for me. And my doctor said that for the most part, if you're a woman that naturally is able to breastfeed, the implant shouldn't stop you from breastfeeding. I should be able to breastfeed. In the rare case, or in the case that I'm not somebody that is able to breastfeed, then that would just be kind of like me, like, that's just my own personal body. But he said that, like, 90% I should be able to be fine to breastfeed, because that was, like, a big thing for me, because I obviously do want to have babies at some point and be able to breastfeed. But you should be okay. So overall, it's not something that he said should impact whether or not you can, if you're able to in the first place. So I know that was a common one, and that was really important to me. That was, like, one of the #1 things. Someone asked, did you also get a lift or just implants? Also, does the doctor change the shape of the areola? So you can get both. So you can get a breast augmentation and lift. I did not get a lift just because my breasts were very narrow, and so I wanted to widen them in the first place. And my doctor said that the lift is a lot more recovery, actually, like, because your skin is so tight and all of that. And I mean, I'm also 23, like I didn't really think I needed to lift. I didn't have big enough boobs that I needed to lift them, if that makes sense. And I also told him that I would actually prefer that they sag and look natural than for them to look like too tight and too perky. Because if you can see, well, this left one is the one that has a bigger implant because it's a smaller breast. So it is definitely higher than this one, which has dropped almost like, oh, it's very low. So even here, like you can feel this is much more flat than this is like kind of higher up. But yeah, so I didn't get a lift. I just got implants, and the doctor can change the size of your areola. However, I was also concerned about nipple sensitivity and scarring and what's it called, breastfeeding again. So I think that the less you mess with your nipple, the better. I'm just gonna throw this out there, I have big nipples, okay? They're big now, and they were big with my small boobs, like they're the same size, and I'm cool with it. And that's fine with me because I feel like now they're proportional to the size of my chest, so I'm like fine. And I had sensitivity back within like the first week. At first my nipples were just very puffy, and I had like surgical tape on them, so they were very puffy. And they kind of like, I had no sensitivity and I was a little bit nervous, but then after that my sensitivity is back. They're kind of the same as they always have been, and that's great. Another question was that people are wondering where I got the incision, and so like, where's my scar? I got my scar, or my incision, so this is my nipple, it's the bottom half of my nipple, and I have to say, guys, I don't have a scar at all. Like really, like nothing noticeable at all. Like I don't think if you looked at my chest and you saw my nipples that you would think that I've had a breast augmentation surgery, because I don't have a scar. Like it actually just looks like a regular nipple, which I highly recommend that incision, not the anchor one. I think the anchor one is more for a lift, but I could be wrong. Or the one through the armpit, or the one on like the right underneath your chest, because that you can't have under boob, like it shows all the time. I would really recommend the under the nipple, or like through the nipple but just underneath scar. And I wanted them again to be natural, like as natural as possible looking. So I was fine with just keeping my own nipple, and my doctor said that if you do want to change the size of your nipple later on and like really do all that, we can always do a lift and change the size of your nipple. But I honestly, I think I'm Gucci gang on that. So what size was I before and what size am I now? I was like a 36B, and now I'm like a 36D or a 34 double D. So I had breast tissue to begin with, and I think that's partially why my chest looks more natural, even like only 2 months. These are very fresh. These are only 2 months post-op, and they already look, in my opinion, natural, or more natural than you would expect somebody's chest to look after only 2 months. And that again is because, one, I think moderate profile, if you want a more natural look, is 100% the way to go. If you have a chest that needs to be like a little bit more wide, like I have a wide chest to begin with because I'm a big person, so I was able to do moderate profile in such a high number of cc's, or high amount of cc's, because it was able to fit my, I don't know if that makes sense. Like if you are a very narrow person, you get moderate profile, the implant is flatter and wider, and so you could have the implant be like hanging off your chest, like, you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't fit your actual chest if you're very small. So that's why a lot of girls that are smaller get high profile, because they go up more as opposed to out. But because I'm a bigger person and I have a wider just frame in general, I was able to get moderate profile and have them fit my body, if that makes. Someone again said silicone or saline, and can your body reject implants? I was honestly terrified of my body rejecting the implants, just because I've read a lot about breast implant illness, and my body rejects piercings and things like that so much, like 100%. So I was like, shit, this is not gonna work. Like I was just so nervous, but honestly, again, knock on wood, that hasn't happened so far. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure it can. So yeah. Then a lot of people asked about the recovery time, and how much it costs. So how much it costs, my surgery was $9,000. It definitely depends on the surgeon. It was $9,000 plus I had to buy the bra, plus I had to get my own blood work done, and pay for that, plus you have to pay for your medication and stuff. So like I would say budget yourself around 10, and especially if you have to take time off from work and all of that, like it just kind of, it's a lot. And that I think is pretty standard. I've heard of some people paying like in Beverly Hills like over 20, and I've heard of some people paying like 5 if you go elsewhere. So I wouldn't pay 20 necessarily, but I also think that some people pay 5 and their boobs look great, you know, like it's not about how much you spend if you're confident in your doctor. I was just so confident in my doctor that I felt like whatever he says, like I trust him, you know. At that point I'm like, this guy could tell me $1 million and I'd be like, okay. No, I'm kidding, obviously, but yeah. So then, okay, how much was it? Was it painful? Recovery, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's talk recovery. Let's just be real here. Recovery is not a piece of cake. Like, it is not amazing. I was pretty much out of commission for like 2 weeks. I was supposed to work like the first week that I got my surgery. No. First of all, my doctor is very much a stickler about like your recovery time. So I wasn't allowed to work out or do anything with my arms or anything pretty much straining for me for 6 weeks. So, and that's like serious. I wasn't even allowed to sleep on my side for 6 weeks. I slept on my back for 6 weeks, okay? So what happened was, at first my recovery was pretty tough because I had to wear this binder, and I'll insert a photo here, and it pretty much is like forcing gravity to push your boobs down. So it actually is so tight that it's so painful that my shoulders were pinching forward, that I looked like Quasimodo for like 2 weeks. I had to leave that on for 2 weeks, could not take it off until I would go in for my weekly appointment and my doctor would look at me, and then I'd put it right back on. This thing, guys, it hurt so bad. That was like the worst part of my recovery, was the back pain. My boobs didn't even hurt. The only day that my boobs hurt was the first day when I was coming home from surgery, and we went over a bump and that hurt. That was literally it. Besides that, my boobs would be like tender or sore, but my back was what absolutely murdered me. Honestly, that binder, like, it freaking hurt so bad. And again, I had to wear it for 2 weeks. I couldn't take it off, so I couldn't really like wear real clothes ever because I literally had to wear that binder for 2 whole weeks. After 2 weeks, I like went to Vegas and stuff, and I was like chilling. Also, the pain meds, I was prescribed one for nausea that like I could take it in case I got nauseous. I was prescribed one for pain, and then what else? What was the other one? Oh, an antibiotic. The antibiotic, I obviously took the whole bottle of the antibiotic because you have to. The pain medication, I don't know what it was, like Vicodin or some shit. It honestly made me feel horrible. It made me feel so hungover. I was only able to take it for like 3 days. Like the first day I took it the whole day because I just wanted to like sleep. The first day I pretty much just literally slept the whole time. Then after that, like after the second and third day, I would take it like only at night just so I could actually go to sleep. But it was pretty brutal, like trying to fall asleep without it, because my back would hurt so bad that I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. Like even if I fell asleep with the medication at like 10, 11, I'd wake up like clockwork at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day being like, oh my god, my back hurts so bad. And the only thing that would help was like rolling my shoulders back and sitting up straight. And so I would just go and sit on my couch and literally just sit there and be like, well, this is the time I'm waking up now, like this is it. So yeah, that was pretty painful. I'm not gonna lie, that part pretty much sucked. I couldn't do a lot, like I couldn't go swimming, I couldn't work out, and all that. I didn't really have an appetite. I would eat like one thing a day, and like it would be like pancakes or like breakfast food. Like it was just kind of like, you felt very blah for the first couple of weeks. But I will say by day 4, I was driving because I got kind of like cabin fever. I'm like, I'm so freaking bored of being at home. I still felt very out of it. I felt kind of like hungover all the time. I felt very weird and out of it, but I was able to like drive. I like took myself to like Target down the street or something for like an hour. And after that I was like, whew, I'm pooped. Like I gotta go home. So yeah, that was definitely tough. Taking the stitches out also hurt really bad too. It was fast, like my doctor did it really fast, but it was pretty painful, like because that's where you're the only place that actually still kind of feels sore and tender. I also had to keep surgical tape on my boobs for like about 6 weeks, almost 2 months. That was just kind of like to keep the incision clean and dry, and obviously like to try to keep it together so it doesn't like, I don't know, that's kind of how he explained it. But yeah, that was kind of annoying because you couldn't really wear clothes with it because you would just look like You had tape on your boobs? Someone says, LOL, so much for body positivity when you gone and change up your body. This is a very touchy subject with people, and I kind of don't want to get people mad at me. But what I will say is, did I love myself before? Yes. Do I love myself now? Yes. Did my breast augmentation surgery change my self-confidence? No. Like, did I love myself before and did I need the surgery? No. Did I want to do it because I wanted to and for very personal reasons that I've shared with you guys today? Yeah. And I mean, I just kind of say it like, I was a bad bitch then, I was a bad bitch now. It came from a place of love, I guess to say. Like, the surgery, me wanting to do it, came from a place of self-love as opposed to a place of insecurity and a place of self-hate. It's kind of like, I don't want to say getting healthy and working out because that's very different than having an elective surgery. And so like wanting to change your body though doesn't mean that you don't love yourself. I think that everybody should be able to do what they want with their own body and that shouldn't matter. And if you're, that's why I didn't want to make the video. Like, I didn't even want to talk about it because I don't want people to think that I'm promoting plastic surgery. You do not need, nobody needs it. It literally is not necessary at all. You don't need surgery unless you have like a broken limb or something like that, or need a heart transplant. Like, that's obviously a necessary surgery. Did I need a boob job? No, I didn't need it. Am I happy though with it? Yes. Was I happy before? Yes. Like, that's just the thing, is like, it doesn't mean that I don't love myself or that I didn't love myself before my surgery. And it's just such a silly kind of mindset. Like, if you don't want to do it, I understand that body positivity and that whole movement is just about loving it and accepting yourself the way that you are, and I'm all for that. If you're happy with your small chest and you don't want to change it at all, that is lovely. That is great. I was happy with my small chest too, but I was able to change it for multiple reasons and I did it. And does that mean that I can't say that I'm body positive, or that I can't say that I love myself and that I haven't always loved myself? I think something that I really want, especially younger women, to hear is that you cannot go into surgery being a not self-confident person. You need to have that inner confidence, and I think it comes with age, because people have these unrealistic expectations for what they're gonna feel like when they come out of surgery, and they think like, if I just get this surgery, then like I'm gonna feel amazing and I'm gonna be so confident. Most of the people that I know that have had elective surgeries, I know people that have had their whole body reconstructed, and they are still some of the most insecure people that I know. I know people that work with very famous people that have had their bodies reconstructed and they are very insecure. If you're an already insecure person, whatever it is that you do, whether it be dyeing your hair, putting on fake lashes, or, you know, getting work done on your body, you are not gonna all of a sudden wake up and be happy. You need to learn to love yourself, accept yourself, flaws and all, before even considering to do something like this. Because one thing I also will say is, like, when you first get out of surgery, it is not pretty. You think you're gonna wake up and look like freaking Cinderella. You're gonna wake up and you're gonna look like puffy and bloated for a week because of your antibiotics. You're gonna feel groggy. Your boobs are gonna be like up to here. It's a lot, okay? You're gonna feel gross. You can't shower for 2 weeks. If you're already not a self-confident person, you're not gonna feel amazing right after. And even when you first, like, even when you take off all the bandages, all of that, if you assume that your boobs are gonna, or whatever it is you're gonna get done, is gonna change all of your problems, and all of a sudden you're gonna have this crazy amount of self-confidence, it's just not realistic. Like, that's just not what's gonna happen. So, like I said, my surgery came from a place of self-love. I already loved myself. I already thought that I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, I'm kidding. But I was already like a confident person to begin with. I was already modeling. I was already doing things. I was already showing my body, you know, whatever, in a swimsuit and being confident about it because I loved myself regardless. Natural or not natural or whatever you guys want to say. But I don't feel like it's kind or it's positive in any way to put women down for personal choices that they make on their own body. I am not by any means out here telling anybody that they need to have surgery to be confident or have surgery to be beautiful. I am only saying that, like, you can do whatever you want with your body, just make sure it's coming from a place of love. You understand like the mental weight that it's going to have on you as well. And there is still such a stigma about it, and people do still look at you a certain way if you've had work done and you're not as good as somebody who's just appreciating their own natural body. And I totally understand that. I get it. But I don't need to apologize for something that I wanted to do to my own body. And again, I'm not telling people they need to do it. On the contrary, I think that if you don't feel the need to do it, don't do it. There's no need. I didn't feel like I needed to do it. I wanted to do it, so I did it. You guys had all these questions about it. I want you all to be safe, and I want you all to take the right precautions, and I want you all to know what you're truly getting yourself into, because it is not just like, oh, got my eyebrows waxed, like like it's a lot. It is a lot. And so you need to be fully prepared for what you're gonna do. And at some points, like even when I was going into surgery, I was so scared that when I was getting put under anesthesia, I cried. I was so scared. I was like, do I even really want to do this? And like, I knew I wanted to do it, but like in the moment I was terrified. And it is, being put to sleep is honestly really scary. Having surgery, period, having something that is changing your body, a foreign object in your body that's going to change the way that you look and potentially feel about yourself, is scary. So it's not something to be taken lightly. It's not like a trendy thing that just because everyone else is doing it, you should be doing it. If it's not something that you've thought about for a long time, like think about it for years before you do it. I've wanted to do this since high school. So it's something you really need to think long and hard about, because if it's not something you want to do for the right reasons, or if it's not something you've really thought about to a certain extent, I mean, it's pretty freaking permanent. Like, you can obviously get the implants removed, but why go through that kind of trauma, like physical and mental, going through surgery just to not be happy about it? And I don't know, guys, that's pretty much my 2 cents about that. If you guys have any other questions, please leave them down below. I'll do my best to get to it. I honestly, this is like a 35-minute long video at this point, so I'm gonna have to edit this down for like hours. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of address all the questions I've been getting and keep it 100 with you guys, because you know I always do. I would never do anything and then lie about it or pretend that I'm not seeing all the questions or whatever. I just felt like I don't owe anybody anything, to be honest, but I felt like since so many of you guys were asking me about it, that I should just do it because it was helpful for me to watch these videos. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you learned something. I love you guys also very much, and I will see you in the next one.